Hi Victoria, thank you so much for your video. I really loved how you broke down the definition of abnormal and even went into the history of the dark ages, comparing abnormality now from what we've just faced in the pandemic. I love that you read the book by Kring. I was reading as well. I think the book was called Abnormal Psychology, The Science and Treatment of Psychological Disorders by Kring, published in 2018. And for me, it was so interesting to read about how society, the history of how society has treated people who are mentally ill or have neurological differences. To see that they were put into asylums, to see the mistreatment, to read about the experiments and the torture and all the things that weren't really noted back in history. Just to think that that is how we used to treat people. It's very depraved and it's very eye opening because it shows almost a compassionless society. And as we learn too, when the stigma is there and the knowledge and awareness that people with neurological differences are there, the stigma doesn't leave, in fact, it increases little by little. So I think it's really important to remember the history, to remember the mistreatment, and to be advocates for people with neurological differences. I was really interested, so I went ahead and read another article. It's called The Acceptance of Pain, Self-Compassion, and Psychopathology, using the Chronic Pain Acceptance Questionnaire to identify patients' subgroups. Now, I didn't really dig into this study. I was reading more about the acceptance, self-compassion. I was reading about the psychopathology and how all three of those are intertwined to have and to reap these incredible benefits of healing and behavior management and emotional regulation. And I like how you said in your video that we as Christians are not here to judge. In fact, as I used to say to my kindergartners, it's not your business what someone else is doing. It's not our business what someone else is doing, but we can be wise and we can have these in our toolbox to help and support and guide someone when given the opportunity when they're seeking help. What I loved is that self-compassion was having this tool of knowing to have self-compassion is huge in having emotional regulation. And self-compassion, the article said, it was displaying concerning kindness versus judgment to yourself. It was displaying common humanity, knowing that we're in this together versus going into isolation mode. Self compassion was mindfulness in your life versus over identification. And I think so many times in this society where we're aware, lots of people say they have PTSD and don't really have PTSD. Lots of people say they have an anxiety disorder when they don't have an anxiety disorder. And I love this mindfulness technique because it says, in mindfulness, no one ruminates or ignores on parts one doesn't like about oneself, which I think is beautiful versus an over identification of this is what's wrong with me, this is what's wrong with me, this is what's wrong. So mindfulness is acknowledging and also being able to not ruminate on it as well. And all that comes with acceptance of who someone is. Not only is this beneficial just in cognitive therapy for a normal person, but also one with neurological differences. So I really enjoyed your video. I agree. No judging. Let's display self-compassion and compassion to others. Thank you. Bye.